Crime profile. Topic: Making of a crime profile. Making of a crime profile. Criminal profiling is an investigative tool used by law enforcement to understand and apprehend criminals, especially those involved in serious offenses such as serial crimes, terrorism, or other violent acts. It is a psychological, behavioral, and investigative technique that assists investigators in narrowing down suspects by predicting a criminal's personality traits, behavioral patterns, and possible next moves. Here's a detailed look into how a criminal profile is made. 1. Crime scene analysis. Time's primary step. Investigators first assess the crime scene. This includes gathering forensic evidence like DNA, fingerprints, blood spatter, weapon types, and other clues that reveal the methods and tools used in the crime. Time's behavioral clues. The crime scene often indicates the level of planning, organization, and emotional state of the offender. For instance, a clean, well-organized scene suggests a meticulous, organized criminal, while a chaotic scene may indicate impulsive behavior. 2. Victimology. Time's understanding the background and lifestyle of the victims helps in predicting why they were targeted. This includes studying Time's personal relationships. Were they targeted due to personal or professional disputes? Time's pattern of victims. Are there similarities among victims? Age, gender, profession, etc. Time's location and timing. Are the crimes occurring in certain areas at specific times? This helps identify patterns that can be linked to an offender's daily habits. 3. Modus operandi, MO, and signature behavior. Times MO. Modus operandi. This refers to the techniques or methods the criminal uses to commit the crime, like breaking into a house or luring a victim. Times signature behavior. Some criminals leave behind personal signatures or unique actions during their crimes. Example, certain types of wounds, posing of victims. Unlike MO, this doesn't evolve and often provides insight into the offender's psychological state. 4. Behavioral analysis. Times psychological profiling. Criminal psychologists and profilers use the information collected to analyze the offender's personality traits, such as aggressiveness, intelligence, social skills, emotional state, and sexual orientation, if relevant. Times personality traits. They assess whether the person is impulsive or methodical, organized or disorganized, and what drives them. Example, anger, thrill, revenge. Times risk factors. Profilers consider the offender's potential past, which might include childhood trauma, mental health issues, or previous criminal behavior. 5. Geographic profiling. Times geographic profiling involves analyzing the locations of the crimes to predict where the offender might live or operate. Crimes committed in clustered or specific areas provide clues about the suspect's familiarity with the region. Times this helps police narrow down suspects by focusing their search in a specific geographic area. 6. Forensic analysis. Times DNA and forensic testing. Evidence like blood, hair, or fibers found at the crime scene is sent to laboratories for analysis. Advanced technologies such as DNA profiling help identify suspects or link multiple crimes. Times digital forensics. In the age of technology, cybercrime units assist in profiling by analyzing phone records, internet activity, and digital footprints. 7. Linkage analysis. Times law enforcement agencies use computerized systems like the Crime and Criminal Tracking Network and Systems (CCTNS) in India to connect multiple crimes that may have been committed by the same offender. Times if the suspect has a criminal history, his/her past behaviors or methods may match recent crimes, creating a link for investigators. 8. Criminal database cross-referencing. Times India's National Crime Records Bureau (NCRB) maintains detailed databases on convicted criminals. Profilers often cross-check these databases to match a profile with known offenders. Times law enforcement also works with Interpol and other international agencies for cross-border crimes like terrorism or trafficking. 9. Psychological and sociological profiling. Times psychological factors. Profilers assess if the criminal suffers from mental illnesses like psychopathy or antisocial personality disorder. For instance, serial killers often display psychopathic traits, while terrorists might have ideological motivations. Times sociological factors. The socioeconomic background of the suspect may provide context. For example, criminals from disadvantaged backgrounds may turn to crime due to lack of opportunities, while others might commit crimes out of greed or political reasons. 10. Creating the profile. Once the data is gathered, criminal profilers consolidate the findings to create a detailed profile. The profile includes times demographics, likely age, gender, occupation, education, and ethnicity, times physical traits, height, build, and possible distinguishing features like scars or tattoos, times personality, traits such as anger, narcissism, or fearlessness. Their mental state and motivations, times behavioral patterns, habits, routines, and even likely professions or social activities, times predicting future actions. Based on the profile, profilers predict if the criminal will strike again, where, and how. This helps the police set up surveillance and focus resources. 11. Using the profile in the investigation. Times once a profile is made, it is used by the police to narrow down suspects, interview potential witnesses, and focus on key areas. Times profilers might also work alongside negotiators during high-profile crimes like kidnappings or terrorism to understand the criminal's psyche. 12. Post-arrest profiling. Times once a suspect is apprehended, profiling continues during interrogations to determine their role, motivations, and possible accomplices. This helps in understanding any larger criminal networks or the potential for future threats. Challenges in India. Times data limitations. Indian police databases are still being updated, and the availability of digital and criminal data is sometimes limited. Times training. Criminal profiling is still an emerging field in India, and there is a shortage of trained profilers compared to other countries like the US or UK. Times forensic infrastructure. Forensic labs and profiling infrastructure are still developing in some regions, leading to delays in analysis. Conclusion. Criminal profiling combines behavioral psychology, forensic science, and criminal investigation. Though it's a developing field, it is becoming a vital tool in modern investigations, especially for serious crimes like serial offenses, terrorism, or organized crime. With advances in technology and better data integration, the process will continue to evolve.